So now I'm gonna have to pick up the stitches for the sleeves, do this bit of color work again, and then just knit the sleeves. I knit this also in the lead lopi, the Icelandic yarn, so you can just really easily just tear it apart. But then again you can just attach it again, put it a bit, twist it a bit. Hi, and welcome to the Galad knitting circle. My name is Jana, and I'm coming to you from the north of Germany, a little city called Göttingen, where I study musicology and art history, next to a lot of knitting and all kind of crafty business. So this is my virtual knitting circle, where I like to talk about my projects, what I finished knitting, what I'm currently knitting on, future projects, and but also just mainly to stay in contact with other fellow knitters and crafters, and just to share about our knitting journeys and inspire each other for new projects and new ideas, all related to knitting and other crafts. Let's jump right in and talk about all the knits. So first, what I'm wearing the GOLDWING by Jennifer Steinglass. I knitted this in Orb Merino yarn, which is a New Zealand merino yarn, and this is really one of my most worn jumpers that I knitted. I just really like the color work. I just think it's so cool, and I think it's also the jumper where I get the most compliments for. Whenever I go somewhere, people ask me if I knitted this, and then they really like it. So this is a very proud piece of mine. Let's start with the finished objects then. I have two finished objects to show you. Actually, I finished another two, but those I don't have them anymore. It was first the pair of socks that I showed in the last episode. That was a custom order, knitted socks with the name on it. I offered this option in my Etsy shop to order personalized socks with one's name on it, and those I sent off, and unfortunately didn't take any pictures of it, but they've been now with the new owners. And then another pair of socks that I knitted also in the last episode, the Barmy socks by an Icelandic designer, and those I gave them to my mom for her birthday last week, and she really liked them. So these were these really thick house socks, kind of slippers, in the lead lopi by Istex, the Icelandic yarn. And I held it together with the silk mohair to make them even more fluffy. And those have been received well too. And those were two finished objects that I don't have anymore. Then another one are these mitts. These are the SIONNACH mitts by Nina Pommerenke, who's hosting the A Crafter's Tale podcast on YouTube. And I've knitted these mitts before already for myself. It's been my New Year's cast on actually. And now I knitted them again for a friend of mine who really liked them and who wanted to have a pair as well. And so I knitted them. The grey is the Finol yarn by Rauma. It's a Norwegian yarn. And the orange, the fox color, is Jameson Spindrift. And yeah, so I'm really happy with this yarn choice, because for my mitts I used just like a alpaca leftover for the orange, and then yeah, just leftovers basically, and they didn't turn out as nice because this alpaca yarn that I used was really not as sturdy and was more floppy, and these hold up a lot nicer, and also especially the fingers, because they're really nice and sturdy and not so floppy and holey like my ones are. But yeah, so I'm really happy with those, and I'm actually thinking about making another pair for myself, because now I'm really not so happy with my pair anymore. So I might do these again, or also choose another pair of mitts that this designer has. She also has the same kind of mitts but with an owl on it, and now she's also going to release one pair with the bee. So I might also pick one of those and knit one of those mitts for myself now. But yeah, this is a project that I'm really happy with, and those will be sent to England. And then another finished object is a hat that I made for myself. It doesn't look as great. It's not the most beautiful hat I've ever knitted, but it has a bit of history. So recently I discovered that I really don't do so well with wool anymore. It came quite suddenly, and suddenly all my hands started itching when I was knitting on this really toothy yarn, and also I couldn't really wear those rustic yarns anymore, and especially on the hat that I can't, like even the softest merino, I can't really have it on my forehead, and it's just really annoying really. And yeah, I don't really know what to do about it yet, but so for now I just knitted myself a hat now from this Cumbria yarn by Pasquali. It's a cotton and viscose blend, and so this just feels so much nicer on my forehead. It doesn't itch at all, and before I couldn't wear a hat inside at all, and always when I've been out my whole forehead would be scratchy and really itchy. So that's a lot better now with this yarn. So the pattern for this is the Ole hat, and so this is just like a very basic beanie. It's got the Italian cast on, and then the half fisherman's rib that goes all the way up until the crown decreases. And the pattern is not really made for this kind of yarn because it's a lot thinner than the intended yarn. That's why it's quite floppy and has quite some holes in it. So it's really not as warm, the hat, but yeah, for me it's just really such a relief to have a hat that I can actually wear without being so itchy in the head. So yeah, this is a finished object that I made for myself. And yeah, so those were my finished objects. And now we're going to start with the works in progress, which are quite a lot. So yeah, actually 3 jumpers that are kind of in the same state of being, which is Sleeve Island. I'm gonna start with the Black Wolf, because this one I've been showing in the last episodes too. This is the body. So the body is finished now. This is a bottom-up construction. So here the body stitches are on hold now. And then I started the sleeve, which is just this tiny bit. So I'm gonna make the 2 sleeves and then join them together in the round for the yoke decreases. And yeah, so this is really not as much. And then I kind of put it on hold for a bit, because yeah, I'm really not such a fan of knitting sleeves, as you might see now. That's usually where my jumpers get stuck for a while. The body is always really fast, but then the sleeves, I don't know, it takes me much longer time than knitting the body. So yeah, this pattern is The Black Wolf by Nina Nuemann. It's from this book, which I also showed in the last episode. Yeah, it's all kind of color work, yeah, yoke jumpers, and this is a really nice book. So here you can see kind of the patterns that are in here. So it's, in my opinion, a really nice book. And I'm knitting this in the Danish yarn Naturold, which is this yarn. And yeah, so this yarn, I also talked about this the last episode. I'm really enjoying it, especially for my sensitivity to wool now. I mean, this is still 100% wool, but it's not as toothy and itchy, in my opinion, as the Icelandic yarn is, which I used to knit a lot with. But it's basically the same as the Alafoslopi, the Icelandic yarn, but just not as itchy. It's a lot softer. But yeah, the yardage, the meterage is exactly the same. And yeah, so then I'm knitting another jumper in that same yarn, which is a jumper that I designed about a year ago now. And I designed this in the Alafoslopi. But now, since it's very hard to get hold of Alafoslopi and all the other Icelandic yarns at the moment here in Germany, I use this yarn as a substitution. And yeah, I'm really happy with that, actually. So this is how it looks like. Yeah, so it's called The Song of Ice and Fire, and it's a top-down construction. So it starts here with the neckband, which is a folded neck actually. So this is going to be sewn down, kind of like this, and then with the yoke, the color work, all the way down to where the sleeve starts, and then a bit further. Here I separated for the sleeves, put the sleeves on hold now, and then knitted the body. So now I'm gonna have to pick up the stitches for the sleeves, do this bit of color work again, and then yeah, just knit the sleeves. And so yeah, it's the same yarn, the Natur Oud, the Danish yarn. And yeah, so let's see if I manage to do the sleeves. And yeah, so the last version I made from this pattern I sold in my Etsy shop, and so now I want to make some more of these jumpers because they seem to go quite well and people like these kind of jumpers, and especially now in winter they like to have a nice jumper like this. So I want to make some more of those and then hopefully sell them in my Etsy shop. And yeah, I did find some mistakes in the pattern again, even though I've been knitting this many times and checking the pattern. So yeah, I'm gonna update the pattern after I knitted this and then knit it again and see. But yeah, this is that pattern. I did do some changes here in the color work because I didn't really have the right colors. I can show you what the original version looked like. It's this one. So yeah, the original version didn't have this white here, and it had another blue, another brighter blue shade, and also this dark gray is just because I ran out of the dark blue, and then yeah, I just changed to the dark gray, which I still had from the Black Wolf jumper, and then yeah, I just changed the color work up a bit to yeah, so I have enough yarn. Yeah, so hopefully next time I can show you this under the finished object section. And yeah, that's that. And then we come to the third jumper without sleeves. So this is really a sleeve island episode today. Yeah, because it's just sleeves. It's just so boring. So this, I also showed this the last time. It is the, yeah, just a improvised pattern that I made up and just started knitting, and now just see how it develops. I knit this also in the Letlopi, the Icelandic yarn. I think it is the colorway Barley, and yeah, so it's just here it has got the tubular cast on, or Italian cast on, however you like to call it. It has a rib 1 by 1, and then just some very basic raglan increases down, so it is worked top down. And then here on the sleeves it has this leaf pattern, like a lace stitch pattern. Those leaves coming down. Yeah. So this is on both the sleeves, and then also on the body underneath the arms. So I finished the body now, here also have made a rib and then cast off the body, bind off the body. And so now again the same as for the other jumper, I will have to pick up the stitches here and then just knit them down with this stitch pattern going all the way down to the cuffs. And then yeah, I will have a nice basic jumper to wear, because yeah, as I said, I noticed that I have just so many really colorful color work jumpers in my wardrobe and not really any basic jumpers. Yeah, but in just day-to-day life I then do prefer to wear something more basic at times, and just one color and not so bright and colorful. So this is going to be nice to have a really basic jumper to wear just day-to-day situations. Even though I always enjoy the color work more than just a plain stockinette, but I think for the wearing part of it, I enjoy the plain stockinette more than wearing the color work. But yeah. So these were my 3 Sleeve Island projects, the 3 jumpers, and hopefully I will manage making those sleeves in the next days. So yeah, I will have more knitting time now, because I almost finished all my exams for this semester, so then I will have more time to actually knit and not just do all these in-between projects. Well, I do actually have a 4th jumper on the go, one that I'm designing, but I can't really show it at the moment because I'm designing it for a yarn company, a German yarn company called Merlewolle, and I'm designing for them, and then yeah, so I have to wait until the pattern is released to share it with you. But I thought I could share a bit about this yarn, because I just really enjoy this yarn. I'm just really in love with it. So yeah, I mean, I've always for a long time been looking for like a really nice natural yarn here in Germany, that wasn't necessarily the Icelandic yarn, because it's just very hard to get hold of, and also it's like I've heard this is really not so nice to, because yeah, the dye, for example, it's got a lot of chemicals in it, and we don't know really how the sheep are being treated there, and that's just, yeah, it doesn't really resonate with me to not know how the sheep have been treated and where the wool comes from. I mean, it says Icelandic yarn, but who knows where and how they got hold of that wool. And so yeah, I found this wool company, a German company, which is called Merlewolle. And this is what it looks like. So they have 2 kinds of yarn. One is this one, the Inselschaf, and then the other one is the Alpschaf. Basically meaning one is the island sheep and the other one is the mountain sheep. And this is also where they come from. So these are sheep flocks here in Germany. One is at the coast on this island called Föhr, and the other one in the Alps. And yeah, so this is called the happy wool. And yeah, for this yarn company, it's just really important to also stay in contact with the sheep and the shepherd and see where it comes from, and be really sure that the sheep are treated well, and also that it's dyed naturally without chemics and all these things. So yeah, I just really like this yarn, and it's very, yeah, it's very natural. It's quite toothy, so I'm also now struggling quite a lot to wear this kind of wool. But yeah, nevertheless, I really enjoy it. And yeah, also just to know that it comes from here, and yeah, I don't have to have such a bad conscience to knit with it, because yeah, these sheep, they've been treated well, and they have a lot of different colorways. So this is another Inselschaf, and they're very nice colorways. The Inselschaf is it's just solid colors. I mean, it does have a bit of specks in it, but the Alpschaf has these fades in it, which are also really beautiful, and it's softer than the Inselschaf, the Alpschaf. But what I really enjoy about this yarn is all these very subtle color changes. So they have a lot of yarns that are actually the same color but not the same, and then they have the brighter and the darker version of it, so it makes very nice fades. And also all the colorways are inspired by the actual nature in which the sheep live. So the Inselschaf, this one for example is called Sanddorn, which is just this plant that grows there along the German coast. I don't really know the English translation for it, but I will look it up and put it here. And so I think that's just really beautiful, because this is all actually inspired by the nature there. This is called Sandstrand, so the sandy beach. And yeah, it really does have that color of the German beach. And also this is called the Trollblume, the colorway, which is a flower that grows in the Alps. And yeah, I really like this about this yarn, that it's all inspired by nature, and yeah, very natural yarn. So I guess you'll be hearing me talk more about this yarn in future episodes, and hopefully also then share the projects and the designs that I'm making with it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, to show you the design. So at the moment I'm just designing a nice fade jumper, which uses all those different shades. So yeah, I will be showing you this one once it is released. Yeah, so I have another work in progress. So this time is really just a lot of work in progress. So this is it's not that much to show yet. It is the Adventurer Best by a German designer, and yeah, this one I'm knitting for my grandpa, who's in hospital actually at the moment, so, and he's always so cold, so I thought it'd be good for him to have something really warm. So yeah, so this is worked flat, just bottom up until I split for the arms, and then it's gonna have a really thick neck, which I hope is gonna be nice and warm. So this is very thick. It's designed in super bulky and on the needle size 10, which is just very big. So yeah, I'm holding actually 3 strands of Plötulopi, which is the Icelandic unspun. So this is just, yeah, the unspun yarn, which is quite fragile, so you can just really easily just tear it apart. But then again, you can just attach it again, put it a bit, twist it a bit, and then you can just knit with it again. So this is the unspun yarn, and then I have 3 strands of this, and then I hold it together with 1 strand of the Letlopi in this blue. So I have 3 strands of grey and then 1 blue. So Letlopi is like the Aran weight of the Icelandic yarns, and yeah, it's giving this very thick and quite wintry looking fabric. So I'm really liking this effect actually, that sometimes you see more the grey and sometimes the blue comes through more. So yeah, I think this is gonna be quite nice, and I hope he's gonna like this best. And yeah, actually I thought this would be such a quick knit, because I thought it's number 10, the 10mm needles and such thick yarn, but it does take quite a lot of time actually, because I'm knitting a lot slower on the bigger needles than I do on the smaller needles. So I really can't knit this as fast as I would normally knit. And also, since it's worked in flat and not in the round, it takes me more time because I'm slower purling than I am knitting. So it does quite take a long time, but it's okay. So, because at the moment I can't visit my grandpa in hospital anyways, because we're not allowed to here to visit people in hospital. So I will have to wait to give it to him until he's released, which is going to be in 7 days. So I will manage until that. And yeah, I hope he's going to like this. So yeah, then I have just one more work in progress. And I showed this one in the very first episode. It's a sock project. So I'm just on the foot now. I showed this when it was only the cuff. But so here we see the leg. I turned the heel with the heel flap, and now I'm on the foot, and I'm going to do the toe decreases soon. I'm knitting this, holding 2 strands together. One is just a sock yarn with these nice fades in it and these different colors twisted together, and then I'm holding it together with the silk mohair. So yeah, I think it's giving it quite a nice effect, because you can still see the color changes from the sock yarn, but then it's all in this nice orange tone. And yeah, I think it's going to be really nice. And so what I'm doing here now is I'm trying out a new construction. I mean, I don't know if there's a sock pattern already designed like this, but yeah, I just made this up. So what I'm trying to do here, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm trying to have a padded sole and the heel. So I started with the heel flap. When I was knitting the heel flap, that I was then slipping every other stitch, and then on the way back just pulling all the stitches. So that's what made it a lot thicker, the fabric. And then I did this all the way around. When I was turning the heel, and now I'm also doing it down here all the way on two of the 4 needles. So yeah, there I'm just slipping every other stitch, and then on the next just knitting all the stitches. And I think it's gonna be really nice because you can really feel the difference. The sole is a lot more sturdy and very much thicker than the top of the sock. So I'm also hoping then this will make them last longer, because with me and the socks is always the problem that there are going to be so many holes in them. Yeah, so I'm hoping this is going to be nice and sturdy. And also I'm knitting this on 2mm needles, which is quite thin for those 2 yarns hold together. And so that's also what makes it very very sturdy, the fabric. So yeah, I will keep you updated with this, how it's gonna turn out, because for me this is also just improvising and seeing how this works out. So yeah, I hope it's gonna be fun, and hopefully I can show you the finished socks soon, and maybe I will write down a pattern for it or something, so that other people can also enjoy these socks. Because I think especially for hiking or things like this is going to be really useful, because like when you have those hiking socks from a shop, like those commercial hiking socks, they always have a padded sole. So I thought, yeah, this might be a good idea. And yeah, so I will keep you updated on these socks. Yeah, so these were all my projects, all the finished ones and the works in progress. And I hope you enjoyed this little chat about my projects. But I would really like to hear about you, what you're knitting on, and yeah, maybe you can share that in the comments, and I'd be looking forward to reading it. And yeah, other than that, I wish you a nice day, and hopefully I will see you soon, and hopefully I have more to share, more knits. And yeah, so keep knitting, and until next time, bye.